What are some real estate investment opportunities that you should consider? I often get this question asked a lot from friends and clients. How do I get into real estate investing? It seems almost impossible, but is there some first steps that I can do to get into real estate investing, and what are some opportunities that I can entertain? The first thing that I would suggest is, let's say you already own your current home, you could move, go buy a second property as your primary, purchase that second property, and then rent out your first property that you purchased before. The benefit to that is the first purchase you're able to purchase as your primary residence, so you got a preferred interest rate. And the cool thing is, if you move again, you can actually get that same loan. So the benefit to that is that you can put less than 20% down. Some of the investment loans out there, you actually need more than 20% today. Some of them are between 25 and 35%. But if you move, and you actually can do that every 12 months to get a primary loan, you at least have to live in your property for 12 months, and then after that you can move and purchase again. So let's say you purchase that second property, you could put 5% down, 10%, anything less than 20% if you wanted to. And the cool thing with that is it takes less capital to get that to get your first rental property, because now your previous home becomes your rental property. And the only thing we just want to make sure is that when you rent out that first property and you move to that second property that you just bought as your primary, is that you at least have some sort of cash flow from that property, or very minimum you're at least breaking even, with very high hopes that you can raise rent 12 months later. And so cash flow is income minus expenses. There should be some sort of positive number there. We call that cash flow. So as long as that can happen, that is a really good way to get in the game of real estate investing. I actually did that on my first rental property purchase. My wife and I did that. We moved, rented out our first place, and it was an easier way to get in the game of renting, of having rental property. So that's one opportunity to consider. The second thing is, let's say you own your primary home, it's a single family, and you have some space in the backyard. I have several clients, what they have done is they've actually added square footage in the backyard, and added a second unit called an ADU. And for $100,000, $200,000, depending on the size, if it's a studio or a couple bedrooms, and if you have this space in the backyard, you can build a second unit in the backyard, rent that out, permit that square footage. And the great thing with that is you have a second unit to rent. You still keep your primary, and you're still living in that that single family home, and that's a very easy way for just a couple $100,000 extra to get in the game of renting real estate. You have a second unit, it's still a primary home, and the good thing is you increase the value of your home because you added permitted square footage. If you have any questions on that, feel free to reach out to me.